First, the whole world of TV and video and the idea of watching content and so forth. There's a few things out there that I think jump out at me right away. First is what we try and do, or at least what I try to do internally here, is I like to try and get people to stop talking about TV and stop talking about video, and let's just call everything video. Because the fact is that there's more TV watching than ever before. It's just not everyone's watching on television, right? People are watching on their terms, they're watching their content, and they're choosing their primary delivery stack, whether it's a service provider, a platform to watch it on, and then the content that they choose to watch. There's still a lot of confusion out there as to how people will find what it is that they're watching, but the good news is that people are watching. We're seeing incredible transformation of people, whether they're cord cutting, cord shaving, cord whatever, but the fact is that people are finding new ways to enjoy entertainment in their home or on the go. You know, I think that the idea of mobile video is still a little strange for me to understand the fact that people might even be sitting in their living rooms choosing what show it is that they want to watch right on their phone, or whether they're on a train, or whether they're sitting in a park, but people are watching video. It's a very interesting kind of conversation to have.
So what about advertising and connected TV? I know it's a big area, but it's also an area that perhaps the performance data isn't quite there. What are your thoughts about that?
There's just a tremendous amount of fragmentation. You know, it used to be a lot easier to buy television. You'd negotiate your deal, you'd traffic your spot, and the spot would run, and then there would be a rating service that would be able to provide you with the validation that not only did your inventory run, but this is what the projected audience was. When it comes to digital, where we're dealing with things that are much more matter of fact, we expect a lot more factual evidence. And unfortunately, with the way things work in terms of inventory providers, people who are selling, and then the platforms that are delivering everything, there creates a lot of fragmentation and disruption. But I do feel that wherever there is motivation in a particular category, motivation and momentum, so the motivation for the dollars, the momentum in terms of viewer interest, sometimes things just happen to fall into place. And I think we're still 2 or 3 years away from there really being a nice seamless method where we can say, we want to reach these types of viewers regardless of how they're watching it and where they're watching it, but we just know that these people who are watching this particular show, and we got the right kind of delivery. I think we're moving closer towards that future. But right now there's still a lot of fragmentation. We were talking a little bit before about the stack, right? There's a method of delivery, there's a platform of which you choose to watch, and then there's the content. And so you can address each one kind of individually. I think that when it comes to first on the delivery side of things, it's very interesting what's going on in the cable business in terms of the race for the service providers like the Fioses on one side down to the direct TVs. But then at the same time you start looking at Time Warner and everybody is reshuffling all of their television packages to try and kind of like optimize the amount of money that you spend. However, really at the end of the day, what's also going on is consumers are now really learning about the tiers of internet delivery, and it's not uncommon for you to open up your mail and you're going to see something that talks about have multiple streamers in your home. I mean, this is how quickly the conversation has moved into where consumers understand the fact that they need to have either a wider internet connection or faster internet connection in order for them to be able to consume more video in their home. So the first thing is very good news is that there's a huge audience awareness that there's an alternative form of getting the content, and it's not just about I'm watching YouTube videos on my TV. It's about I can watch long-form content and content that's only available on these types of channels directly in my home through a variety of platforms, whether it's phone, tablet, or connected TV, and the computer. So I think the good news is that when it comes to delivery, people are aware of the opportunities that are available. When it comes to the platforms themselves, this is a very, very interesting conversation, because you really do have like the premium players on one side. You have an Apple TV, which sells a very high-end, expensive box. I think it's a $199 for their 128 gig version of the Apple TV, which has apps and has all of these types of things. Apps are very interesting in a smart TV world, but I don't think yet that consumers are really looking for their television to solve their problems. The over-the-top box is a friction-ful device. It's a terrible device to actually interact with other than changing channels or changing the volume or switching between apps. It's not something where I want to type in the flights that I'm searching for, or if I want to understand, what is the career batting average of Lucas Duda. I don't need to go into that or do anything like that. Where smart TVs and apps could, I think, start to converge a little bit and get people to understand the value of apps could be for services like notifications. So it would be very interesting if you're watching something and then all of a sudden there is a notification like you would get on your phone, but on the TV about a flight landing. Something you might be keeping an eye on. Maybe it's a sports score or something along those lines. So I think that that's where you'll start seeing the world of apps blurring into it. But going back to it originally. So you have that premium side, and then you have the super low end side, which is like, the stick movement. I think for $39.99 you can get an Amazon Fire TV stick. You can get a Roku stick. You just put the stick inside your TV, and now you have a Netflix player, you have a Hulu player, you have an Amazon, maybe an Amazon Fire player. So, it's not a very high cost of entry to get involved with this. Every TV that is manufactured today pretty much has a platform built in, and right now you're seeing a lot of Android TV stuff in there. You're seeing a lot of regular manufacturers doing their own systems. LG has their web OS TVs. So it's not very hard for consumers to get access to that. But the biggest challenge at the end of the day comes down to the content. Now, about 98% of the content, or maybe 95% of the content, is available through everybody, through every platform. However, you're not going to be able to get the Apple Store. So if you're looking to buy movies or you're looking to buy very specific TV shows that are exclusive to Apple, you're not going to be able to buy those on any device that is not Apple. The same thing goes on the other side, is at Amazon, if you have a Prime membership, you have access to a lot of video content. And now you have Amazon Prime exclusives, like I forgot the name of the Jeffrey Tambor show, but it's like that show, okay, is not available on, there's no way to actually watch that on an Apple device because you can't get Amazon content. So there still is that fragmentation that's there, and you have these two overlapping circles, but they don't go all the way because of the fact is that some content isn't available on the other side.